Hey y'all, back in the fish room again. Got a couple things we're doing today. First off, we're replacing this door. We've already removed the lock. Being that this is a fairly humid environment, and the lock was 20 some odd years old, it didn't last. So, time to replace it. So I ordered one on Amazon a couple days ago. This is what I got. Let's see, it's the Tycon. A heavy duty door latch handle in black. I believe it came in silver or black, or I guess like brushed aluminum or something. But anyways, I think I'll leave a link at the bottom. I think it was like $30, really cheap, but seems to be fairly robust. Here's the lock itself. And good heavy weight to it. Don't mind the door. The door is going to be painted here soon, but until then, I had to replace this lock because it's very difficult to get back in nowadays. So, in fact, I barely got in today. So, I had it locked when I left. I locked it, and then came back, and it was rather difficult. Almost had to climb in the window to get in, but anyways, so we're going to go and replace this with that door, and then we'll paint that door, and I'll do another video showing the door being done. But anyways, real simple lock, turn to lock mechanism, and pretty straightforward. So I've already put the bolt in. Now we're just going to slide this in here, and supposedly this is made for right-handed or left-handed turn. I think this is out of the box. I'm pretty sure this is set up for left or right-handed. Pretty sure it's a right-handed operation. So it's going to go on just like that. Once that door gets painted, it'll look good. Of course, I will have to take. Alright, so the second thing that we're going to be doing today is we're going to be tackling some maintenance on this big guy, the 200. It's been a couple weeks since I did a water change, so I need to do that. I don't have large fish in there, so I don't have to do it as often as if I had like giant African cichlids or anything like that. There will be another 150, this is 200 gallons. There will be another 150 gallon tank to my right over there when I get it done, and that will be for the African cichlids. These right here, this is my community tank, and the glare is terrible, so you can't really see it, plus I have the light off. But what maintenance we're going to do is pretty much down there in the sump, and probably just cleaning the glass and draining some of this water up here, doing the water change. But yeah, that's the other thing that I really need to do today. So I'll take you all along with that when I do that as well. Okay, so here's where we're at, guys. I got the light on the tank up there. Got some water drained out of the sump. Of course, before I did that, I turned off the pump because I don't want the pump running, trying to suck water out of here while I'm trying to do all this. And I've turned off the heater, which is over there. There it is over there. That yellow or the orange. That's the heater in there. I might actually have a second heater in there. And I've drained the water down about 3/4 of the way, so I'm going to bring that back up. And then I'm going to drain the tank up here. I'm going to drain it down probably about 1/3 the way. Put new water in there, and we should be fresh and ready to go. As you can see, I got a bunch of little fry down there. They've been hanging out down there for a while. Most of these are swordtail fry. Although there are a few, well, at least there was. I don't know if there is any. I can't see any now, but there was some tiny little angel fry in there too. I don't know if they survived or not, but in any case, we got quite a few swordtails there. I gotta wait till these guys get bigger before I put them up there, because I put them up there, I think they'll probably get eaten by them. By the angels up there, because they are quite big. So basically, it's a real simple setup, really. I got my drains coming out here. They come out this side, they come across, they come down into the socks right there. It goes through about 5 inches of foam of varying layers. So the two blues, the two dark or the two light blues in front, I think they're 30 parts per million, and then the one behind it is 20 parts per million. And then I got all my basically my biological filtration going on there. So lava rocks, lots of media, plants, and an undergravel filter. Then it's going to go through another 20 foam filter there, and then finally a 10 parts per million foam, the black one, before it empties out into the pump return area. And of course it comes back up and it goes through this homemade manifold, which will go to both outlets, and it'll go to a third return, which you can barely see. It's over here in this corner, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But this is what we're gonna do today. So we'll tackle this, get some water in this thing, and see what it looks like after I get done. All right. So this is how we're gonna tackle this job here. It's not terrible, but this is what I got. This is the Hygger version of the Python. I've had this for a while. It does come in useful. I mean, it's useful, I guess, but I found like there's like a few things that lack, that I don't like per se. One being this guy right here, this adapter. Well, this is what actually hooks onto the sink, and you use this little adapter to do it. It screws on like that. Now this, if you were just to use this, it would fit on there like a regular water hose. But since the water is really, really cold, and I don't want to dump cold water in there and shock the fish, I am going to use from the sink. But I have to use this guy, the adapter. Well, it does fit in there nicely. This is the part I don't like. It says it's standard for most American. It comes with 2 different adapters, but this one is one that's supposed to be standard and for most sinks. However, I have tried this one in 3 sinks that I own, and none of them seem to thread exactly right. So while it does work, it doesn't thread good. So just the slightest little movement and it'll pop right loose. So, and then that creates a huge mess, you know, in the bathroom and all that. So I don't like this particular thing for that. So I don't use it to drain the water. I do use it to fill the water occasionally, only in the wintertime. Like in the summertime, you know, when the water's a little warmer, I can fill up the sump down there, leave the pump off, the heaters will warm it up before I return it back to the return it to the tank. And in the summertime, this room's heated and cooled, obviously, but it gets warmer, obviously, and it's in the summertime. It gets warmer in here, and I don't turn the air conditioner on as much, so there's not a whole lot of risk of the water in the tank going below a temperature that's dangerous for the fish. But now it's wintertime, so you got to resort to this guy. I'll show you how I have to do this. So again, we're just using this to fill. So what I have done is, this window right here goes into my master bathroom, because this room here is not attached to the house per se. You know, it is attached to the house, but it's not. There's no access from inside the house into this room. You have to go to the porch or to the carport to get in here. So, so it's like a separate room, separate accesses from the outside. But I'm very thankful that there's a window right here. Even though it gets in the way sometimes, it is very useful for filling up my tank. So I'll just stick that in there for now. Make sure I got enough, feed that in there and got enough slack. Gosh, that should be plenty right there. Move some of this stuff around. Put that in here. Make sure this valve, if I keep this valve closed, I'll get pressure coming that way. But because of the pressure, the backup in the pressure and the way it doesn't thread so well on that sink, it will pump the water off in there before I get back out here to open this up. So, all right. So, what I've done is decided to do it a little different way than I've done it in the past. Instead of filling the sump up down there and then draining that and then refilling this, what I've decided to do is I went ahead and fed the water from the sink. It's going in right up here through the Hygger water changer. So I set it at the proper temperature and I'm letting it run in there. I turn the pumps on, so as the tank's filling up, it's going into the overflows right there. There's two of them in each, kind of in the corners. It's filling this beyond capacity, so it's going into the overflow, which is where it's supposed to go. Eventually it ends up down in the sump, and because it's filling faster than the pump's pumping, the sump is going to fill itself up. So, and that way, it will, it kind of mixes the water all together a little bit better, I think. Of course, I'll still have to drain some more of this water because I haven't done the 30% yet. But it'll be 30% of total volume as opposed to 30% just tank volume. It's because I've already added it in here. So that ought to be good. Should make the fish happy. And the pump's running while we're all doing this too, so it's good. I probably got about another 5 minutes left on this, but when I had the camera off, I had a little problem because I had everything plugged into the wall, into a smart outlet over there. And so when I unplugged accidentally the smart outlet, it didn't return itself back on, and I couldn't figure out what was going on with it. Well, as it comes to find out, after a little investigating, I found that there's an actual little switch on the bottom of that smart power block. There's a little switch down there that I've really never ever messed with because it's always just been, I guess when I first got it I did, but it's just always been on. But see right down there, there's that red switch right there. That is what I failed. Apparently when I was just trying to unplug the pump earlier, I guess I hit that button and turned it all off. Could not figure what was going on. But that's what it was, that little switch right there. I'd already checked the wall. I checked because it's Wi-Fi, I checked the Wi-Fi, which incidentally, because I unplugged it from the wall, it lost all its Wi-Fi signal. So I have to get that going back again. But that little problem I had to investigate was that little switch right down there. The simplest little thing sometimes and they escape you. But anyways, getting about full. We want to go probably about another, I don't know, I'm going to raise that volume up higher than it was last time, so I'm going to go up quite a bit with that. I'm going to go and turn my heater on now too, because as you can see, my heater now is fully submerged, so there's no worry about burning it out. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in, get it going again. And then we'll see where we stand here in about 10 minutes. Alright, well, I'm back. Took a little longer than I expected, but it is finally done. Had a few problems along the way, but we got that all resolved. One being, there was a small leak in the drain side over on that side there, and I don't know why that happened, but I will have to investigate. It wasn't enough to be a concern yet, but it is something I'll have to look at. So hopefully it's nothing big. I've had issues with those drains in the past, so it's specifically the ball valves that are in there. They when I pieced it all together and I put it all together, I even glued it, but it seems to be that there's a small leak like right above the bulkhead where it comes down, so I'll have to check that out. But that's for another video. Not enough of a leak to make a concern, and I came, so I put a bunch of it's where it's draining right into the sump, so it's not that big of a deal. It wasn't on the floor or anything like that. I came back this is a couple hours later now, but I came back like 20 minutes later after it first started leaking, and it just kind of dissipated. So I don't know where it's going to lead from here, but hopefully it's not going to be too big of a deal. But hey, appreciate you joining me today for the water change. I know it's just one of the things that you have to do as a fish keeper, and sometimes more often than others, depending on what kind of fish you got. But anyways, appreciate it. See y'all later.